Hi, welcome to my channel, Rohit Speak. And in today's video, we're going to talk about is cholesterol. As you may have heard that cholesterol is bad and it causes a lot of heart issues, blood flow issues, and a lot of many other diseases. But there are many other facts to cholesterol, and you need to know a deeper understanding like what cholesterol is good and what is bad. And there are two different types, and we're going to talk about it. So, going to the first question, is cholesterol important? Yes, of course, it is important. It is required to make your hormones in your body. It is usually required to make your steroid hormones, which are your progesterone, your testosterone, your estrogen. These are our reproductive organs, which they produce these hormones for you. Also, it requires for adrenaline, and all other hormones which is present in your body. These are all fat-based. So cholesterol is important. And they are also required to surround your organs. So your organs are made up of tissues, and tissues are made up of cells. So cells, tissues, organs. So these cells, they have an outer covering, which are made up of lipids, or also called as all the fatty stuff. So yes, cholesterol is important, and it is required to make your hormones. It requires to cover your cells and tissue. And most importantly, it is a derivative to require to make your vitamin D, so which makes your healthy skin, bones, and cells. So yeah, cholesterol is important. Next questions. Do we need to consume cholesterol? And the answer is surprisingly no. We don't technically need that much of cholesterol because your body, especially in your liver, it is well equipped to make enough cholesterol to supply to your whole body. Maybe small amounts of cholesterol from your diet or your food might help, but your body is well equipped to make enough cholesterol in your body to support all your functions. So the question to this is mostly no. Surprising, huh? Now, what do you mean by when they say the patient has high fat cholesterol? In simple words, that person has a high amounts of low density lipids. And we'll talk about it in the next slide. So when they say you have high cholesterol, that means they have a high amounts of these low density lipids, are also called as the bad cholesterol. But again, there are so many exceptions to it. So we're going to talk about it in this slide. So the cholesterol types, there is high density lipids, and then there is low density lipids, as I have labeled it here as good and bad, and also in the figure you can see. Now, what is this high density lipids? So high density lipids is nothing but like a truck which carries away all the extra cholesterol which is not needed by your body, and it takes it to the liver, and then liver excretes it through the bile through your excretory system. Okay, so high density lipid basically scavenges any leftover cholesterol from your body in your or from your blood, and then just dumps it into the liver, and then liver dumps it into your excretory system. Low density lipids is the cholesterol which is required by your body. Okay, that's the lipid is required by your body. But when you eat a lot of fatty foods and all of this, your low density lipids are so much that extra is just swimming around in your blood. Okay, and your high density lipids are not enough to take it away, and that's when your lipid starts accumulating in your blood vessels. And so if you look at this blood vessel, it's like a pipe made up of smooth muscle tissue. Okay, so this is your normal blood vessel should look like. But when you have too many flats or too many low density lipids, they start to narrow down your blood vessel. Okay, and your blood flow is restricted, and hence causing a lot of heart issues, your blood blockages. And that's, if you have heard about angioplasty, basically they put a balloon here and they just increase this size. Okay, so again, high density lipids are the good lipids. Low density lipids are the lipids required by a body, but when they are in excess, they become bad. Okay, now let's understand why do they stick to this vessel, blood vessel, and they form this narrowing of your blood vessels. So what happens is basically if if this is your one blood vessel, it's like a narrow pipe going. So if this is a pipe hole, so that's your blood vessel, your blood is flowing through. There is this outer layer, okay? In that layer, there is, so these are that outer layer. In that layer, you have white blood cells. So white blood cells are the ones which takes away the bacteria or kills your bacteria from your blood system, which is going through everywhere. So these white blood cells, they love the low density lipids. So what they do is they take that low density lipids, oxidize them, and then they burst into this lipid debris. And these lipid debris, once they're oxidized, they love to stick to this smooth muscle inside of your vessel. So if you look at this, they try to stick here. And what happens over the time is also your smooth muscle now takes that lipids inside and they become this engorged. They start to get engorged. And what happens is your blood flow now gets restricted in that area. Hence, you will hear that you have blood blockages and all of that. And that is because there is high amount of low density lipids. So what causes your high low density lipids? As I said, consuming high amounts of saturated fats, saturated and trans fats. The sources mostly are red meats, your animal meats, your beef, your turkey, or any red meat is high in saturated fats. There is palm oil, coconut oil. These are found in your bakery goods. They're usually being used by the companies, and these are really high amount in saturated fats. Then your fried foods, your alcohol, and your full fat milk, by the way. The whole milk which you get, it has a lot amounts of this low density lipid or the saturated fats. So let's understand these fats. There are two types of fats, and very simply to say there is saturated and unsaturated. So saturated fats, which are bad for you, which will cause that low density lipids higher, are the ones they will remain kind of solid at room temperature. And when you heat it, they will melt, but when you leave it at room temperature, it will come back to that solid waxy state. And unsaturated fatty acids, they remain liquid at room temperature. They never become solidified. Okay. And the reason there is because they are broken down by these two double bonds. And saturated fatties are single bonds all the way. That's simply to say, not going too much deep into the chemistry. So the saturated fatty acids in your milk, in your cheeses, chocolates, not the dark chocolate, but the processed chocolates, your red meats, they have these saturated fats. And the good unsaturated fatty acids are in avocados, walnuts, your olive oils. So simply, if you're cooking with the oil and that oil, or if you're using an oil and it becomes solid wax after a while when it cools down, that means that are bad fats. Just remember that. Anything which turns into solid waxy state, they are bad fats. So try to get rid of those from your diet. So foods that help lower your this low density lipids and increase your high density lipids are fish, mostly the fatty fishes. They are really good. Oats, garlic, beans are really good because they also have fiber. Fiber tends to stick to these cholesterol and get out of your egg. So fibers, they love to stick to also these low density lipids. And they stick to that and then they come out of your excretory system. Hence, fiber is very important. Soy is another alternative. Blueberries, nuts, 50 grams in a day is more than enough. Avocado is a really, really good source of unsaturated fats. If you have oils, different oils, try to substitute it with sunflower, safflower. If you want to use, you can use vegetable oil, but they still have some saturated fats, and best is olive oil. Fiber-rich food, as I said, these fibers, they tend to stick to this low density lipids and they will come out. Red wine is really good. I will explain you why red wine is good and why they improve your blood flow in the next video. And just a short snip, it is because of the tannins. Tannins are good for you. Dark chocolate, and if you want to eat more veggies, that's better. Okra and eggplants are really great for that. And again, as I always mention, moderation is the key. You don't have to completely get rid of your saturated fats, your fried foods, the ones you like. But in a week, if you are eating 5 days a week, these kind of stuff, one day, if you're not overdoing it and have your moderate exercise and a workout regime, you will live very healthy. You won't have these blockages, but you're constantly consuming this saturated fat, you're more likely to develop this issues. So be careful with the fats you consume. As I explained, any fat which becomes like a waxy at room temperature or when it cools down, just avoid that food. Anything remains oily or remains liquid are good for you. And these are the sources Jeff said. So hopefully you gain something or some knowledge about cholesterol and now you know what to avoid and what to eat. This is me, Rohit Singh, signing off, and I hope to see you in the next video soon. Bye.